So, Sydney Sweeney has said that she has good genes.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
You see what I did there, right?
And now everybody has lost their melons completely. What the hell? Welcome to The Human Impact. Hi, my name's Jason and I have started the Human Impact channel to start to explore the impact that we have on ourselves and others with our own actions, the human level. And I can't believe this week what has been going on with the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle advert. It's just been absolutely crazy. And it got me thinking about the whole idea of what we hear versus what we actually internalize. The words that are said versus what we actually decide that we're going to listen to. So Sydney Sweeney said that she's got good genes and everybody heard, I'm ugly, you hate black people, you can't stand other people, people who are big, I'm a big unit, right? People who are big are not worthy. It just went absolutely crazy. And I think this is potentially the biggest thing that is going on in the social media space. Is that people are saying one thing and people are hearing another. That whole idea that you turn around and say, well, I absolutely love bananas. And then the world's like, how dare you hate on passion fruits and oranges? I didn't say that. All I said was this. And fundamentally what it's doing is it's showing people who you are at a character level. So look, some of these things, I've got it in my brain. I've got some notes here and it's just madness. So someone was out there saying conspiracy theory, or what they thought was a true theory. Sydney Sweeney has initials that are SS, therefore this is an inaction, or this is enacting the Third Reich, and she's a Nazi, and American Eagle are Nazis, and basically white people are Nazis, and white people with great boobs are Nazis. And look, this is a quick stopping point here, is that okay, yeah, there are loads of men out there who will really like Sydney Sweeney for aesthetically how she looks. But let's not forget, in today's day and age, we've got gay people, there's bi people, there's pansexual people. There will be lots of people of different genders who will be attracted to her. It's not just guys are arseholes, therefore that's what the advert is purporting to be, and therefore Sydney Sweeney has her initials which are SS, and in the photo shoot she had a German Shepherd dog. Therefore it's about eugenics and telling everybody that you are not part of the master race if you don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. And I think fundamentally Sydney Sweeney's real hair colour is brunette, is it not? But anyway, how ridiculous does that sound when you think about it with a sensible head on? So let's look at this in a bit more detail. This is about our own, I'm going to say our as a, not hour as in the hour, or hour as in our hour. And this is about our own insecurities. And is it jealousy? Is it really? And also, the lot of the hate that I've seen out there is women, or women who identify as women, or not, or non-binary identifying. I don't know, maybe just cancel me for my lack of knowledge about the terminology because it's too confusing. But let's look at where this hate is coming from, right? Let's think about all of these women that are out there hating on Sydney Sweeney, blaming men for this in some reason, linking it to eugenics and Germans and Nazis. This is fundamentally jealousy, is it not? Now don't get me wrong, right? I grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, so I've been through Eva Herzigova, Cindy Crawford, some of the most beautiful women in the world on adverts splayed all over the place. Also the Diet Coke even, not Diet Pepsi, I'm sure someone somewhere is going to lose their shit about it. That Diet Coke generation and the Levi ads and all the ads where there's been guys ripping their tops off and showing their six-pack abs. Just think about the beauty industry and what that looks like. This is just utterly ridiculous that it is coming down to this. All of this performative rage is causing just damage. All we got to do is just think. Second thought, first action. This should be in the bloody curriculum at school, right? This is about our second thought. Hey, look, I can't stand you. Oh, well, actually, you know what? We grew up on the same street and maybe we're going through the same circumstances, so I'm not going to go and spit on you. This stuff isn't hard. And what you're going to find is the rage is going to be perpetuated because social media will create an algorithm around you, so you'll end up in this rageful echo chamber. So that's all you'll see is other people's hate and rage, which then perpetuates, which is more rage. And it's just half of the time I've been completely lost for words. I've even got some notes down here to read from, and I'm still lost for words when I've verbalized the ridiculousness of this. Now look, you may not like it. There are people out there in the media that are saying, look, they don't necessarily agree with the idea of Sydney Sweeney in the way that she's presenting herself. But that doesn't mean that it needs to kick off completely. You can just scroll on and move on by. If we look over the past 4 or 5 years, what has actually been out there in the media spaces, I haven't seen many people from other backgrounds that have been kicking off and saying they can't go into shops now because they don't look like this same person. It is just madness. We all need to get a freaking grip of this. And this is what social media wants you to do. Social media wants to inject that dopamine hit within you, get you riled up, get you offended, and then actually get you commenting. Because when you're commenting, it's extending reach, it's showing that you're connected into the platform. If you're a bit meh, you just scroll on by. So what you're also doing is you're playing into the hands of the media companies, the people that you freaking profess to hate. So you're out there, American Eagle's market capitalization has gone up by hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They are selling at rates of knots. And that is because they're getting their, I think, what was it, something like, they've had almost $100 million of what would be seen as free marketing. There is a calculation that you can put out there, which is your paid advertising is X, but then when it gets shared and it gets commented on and the reach goes further, you can then put a calculation into that. So you're playing into their hands. At the very least, if you have massive beef, no offense to vegans, then just scroll on by, just leave it. Does that not make more sense? What do you think? Am I talking crap here? Do you think it really is something that needs to be dealt with? Do you think that in today's day and age, we should be doing something different? Surely data and numbers are the ones that will back up whether this is good or bad for a collective society. And I don't mean necessarily just you or me as individuals, but for a collective society. What did Jaguar? Jaguar in Europe over a quarter lost 97% down year on year after their ads switched. American Eagle's gone up. Hey look, I'm not passing any judgment, I'm just saying the numbers are the numbers. But what about the human cost of this? We are on the Human Impact channel after all, on a more serious note. So Sydney Sweeney is still fundamentally a human being. And if we're out there talking about like the sisterhood, why would you not want to collectively come together and talk about maybe being supportive or perhaps making different choices moving forwards? Maybe it's something that she absolutely loved doing. Maybe it wasn't about the money. Maybe it was about in support for something else. But that's a human being that has to sit there with these comments. This is somebody who is an actor or an actor who got paid some money to do a thing, and that thing was paid for by a company. That's just work. That's just doing a job, right? Why would you slate somebody just for doing their job? Why are we not thinking about this just a little bit more? I don't understand why, with all of this stuff that's going on, why it is still going on. For years and years and years, we have known about the negative impact of social media on each other through our action because there is next to no consequence for sitting there having a pop at people. Why can we not just get a grip of this now? Why can we not be some more supportive and uplifting for each other? So I said I'm a bit lost for words on this one, but why can't we just listen to the words, okay? Can't we judge slower and then live with more curiosity? There's a great quote, I can't remember the exact nature of the quote or where it come from. I'm sure someone will trash me for stealing it. Is the before judging. What is it that was going on? What is the intent that sits behind that? What are they actually trying to get across? What exactly are the words that are said? Has that person said, if you have brown eyes, you are the scum of the earth? Or have they just said, I've got blue eyes? Have they actually said what you are thinking? Or have you got some predetermined judgment that sits there behind it. Why not just question yourself around that? What an interesting learning experience. I've been through the most incredible learning over the past 18 months. So yes, I am sat here on my moral high horse, but that means that I can see this stuff and I want to share it out with the world. And that is what the Human Impact channel is about, highlighting the impact that we have. There is absolutely no need to trash on Sydney Sweeney in the way that we're doing. It is absolutely highlighting these fundamental issues that we have in society with acting differently to the words that are actually said, and that is to do with people's own insecurities, their own victimhood that sits with things, and basically fundamentally wanting to react quickly for either performative rage, clicks and/or revenue. And that's it. That is fundamentally one of the biggest things that is going on. So look, have you ever been misheard? Have you ever been misjudged? I certainly have, and I'll share some things in the comments to people who respond. But what do you think about this whole situation? Have I misread it? What can I learn from this? Why not share? Why not just create a community around these comments? Because I don't think we're too far from breaking point. I think the bigger picture of politics and stuff that's going on around the world, Israel, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, it's just making us angry. What can we control in the way that we respond around things? So anyway, look, I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for getting this far. Stats, I think most people bugger off after about 3 or 4 minutes on these. So if you got this far, I really appreciate you. Put a comment in. Just let me know. Have you made it to the end? I'd love to say hi and thank you specifically. But anyway, look, you take care of yourselves, all right? And I'll see you on the next video.